said you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brian Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon, folks. This is Brian Fitzpatrick, bringing you an episode of Wheeling the Pathways of Life. Today, I'd like to spend the majority of the time talking about the PCA program. For those of you that don't know what the PCA program is, it's commonly known as the PCA program. But for those people that don't know, it's a personal care attendant program administered by AdLab here in the physical intermediary is Tempest Unlimited. The reason why I want to discuss this today is because come July 1, there is a significant cut that is going to happen in the PCA services. Those people that have meal prep hours, okay, right now this only affects the meal prep hours and not anything else, not the feeding or not the feeding or anything else, but it affects the meal preparation itself. And that's going to be 7 hours a week cut off your base, off what you're allotted weekly. So let's say I'm at 96. I'm personally at 96. 6 hours a week right now. I will go down to 88 hours a week. Okay? Now, for me, that is doable because I can rearrange the schedule so that I can accommodate for it. But there are going to be people that can't accommodate for it. And one thing I want to tell you, people have asked me if I want to go. I have nothing wrong with Meals on Wheels and situations like that for people that need the services for Meals on Wheels, but I do not like I have not had good experiences with Meals on Wheels. And, you know, some of the food on Meals on Wheels isn't, it's just, it's, sometimes it's different. We all have different preferences, and I just don't happen to like it. And so, for the state to say we have to go on Meals on Wheels in order to, basically what they're saying is we have to go on Meals on Wheels because that's the only way we can get our meals prepped the way we want to unless we adjust the hours accordingly to accommodate the change. And like I said, I was able to, but it's ridiculous that we even have to do this. Now, let me explain something else. The reason why I am so adamant about this is it used to be, the way the program used to be is the overnights were paid separate from the days. You were allotted so many hours at night between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. You were allotted 14 extra hours, not extra, but you were allowed 14 hours over and above what you got in your weekly allotted hours for just the overnights. Now though, that's not the case anymore. Those 14 hours are included in your weekly allotted hours. So, any cut now affects your allotted hours for the year. And anybody that goes over those hours, okay, there's two aspects that's gonna happen. You're allowed to go to 66 hours a week with permission. Normally, under normal circumstances with the PCA program, you are only allowed to go to 50. With permission, you can go up to 66 hours a week. But if you don't get permission every year, or you just happen to go over the 50 hours a week or the 66, excuse me, it is now 3 months of suspension for the PCA that goes over in hours. Alright? Because it is the PCA's responsibility to keep track of their hours. I feel it is the PCA. Let me say that again. It is the PCA's responsibility if they go over the hours to keep track of them, not do it more than 3 times because you'd be suspended for 3 months. Should you go over? Alright? My feeling on this whole thing, okay, and this is only my opinion and not the opinion of the station or not the opinion of WTBR or the Pittsfield Public School System or United Cerebral Palsy. This is Brain Fitzpatrick's opinion. Is the fact that in the grand scheme of things, the state is trying to go back to the way it was way back in the day when Belchertown State School was involved in more institutionalized living than it is independent living. Because without the hours we have, and without the help that we have, and the creativity of both the clients and the people who work with you, who work with me, and the other consumers on a daily basis, we couldn't do what we do. And like I say all the time, I wish these politicians and these pencil pushers behind the desk would just come out to a location and work with somebody like me or somebody else for a day and see what it's like to have a disability, and that would hopefully change their mind. But one thing I would guarantee, and I'm not wishing harm on anybody by saying this, but once a politician's family gets a disability, I'm sure things will change. Because, God forbid, a politician's family has to go through what I go through, because it wouldn't happen. There is a couple of people, there's more than a couple people, but I will have Trisha Bouvier on the show after the 4th of July, soon after the 4th of July, and I will have a representative from AdLib, Center for Independent Living on the show. Probably not at the same time, but I will have them on the show to discuss this. And one of the things I'm going to discuss is something with the person from AdLib is a new program that the state is allowing us to have, even though they shouldn't, we shouldn't have to be allowed to do this, because once our money is given to us, it's our money. But there is a thing called an able account. Able account means where, as long as you're spending the money on equipment and things to do with your disability, it's an account where you can save money and use it for those purposes. But there are rules and regulations surrounding the money. One example I will give you is the fact that they won't, like if I wanted to buy a vehicle, they wouldn't buy the vehicle, but they'd make the adaptations to the vehicle so I could use it. They wouldn't pay for the actual vehicle itself or help with the registration or help with the insurance or anything like that. But they will make it a do the physical changes to the vehicle so you can actually access the vehicle to be done. My opinion, and again, this is only my opinion, the regulations need to be looked at as in regards to saving money and having any assets, because I'm in a wheelchair, I feel like I'm being punished because I can't have any assets because I'm in a chair, because I'm collecting on it. I'm collecting Social Security, because, and if I have any assets, they take part of my money away because of the assets I would have if I had any. So, those are just a couple of things that will be coming up after the 4th. And one of the other things that, a couple of the other subjects that I want to just touch upon and basically get you up to speed on is, of course, we're having the 4th of July parade on Saturday the 4th, and because of that, we won't be having a show next week because they're doing preparation for the big show, and so I won't be back until the following week after that. And like I said, we'll have Trisha probably moving on soon after the 4th of July, if not that week. I'm still in negotiations with her. And negotiations with scheduling and stuff like that to try to get on. But the other thing I want to talk to you about today is, and this is the main thing I want to talk about for the remaining time I have, is when you think about becoming a PCA, right? Personal care attendant program, okay? Now, when I say personal care, of course you're gonna get into some mental, you're gonna get into some personal things with the client. You're gonna be sending emails, you're gonna be listening to phone calls, you're gonna be hearing things that may or may not be professional, because, and the reason why I say that is, not that I'm not professional with my PCAs, but you got the PCAs are in my house, and I'm allowed to have a personal life. Now, if that personal life, if the PCA, or the consumer gets to the point where boundaries are being crossed on both the PCA and the consumer, then something's gotta change. And the consumer and the PCA have to understand that those boundaries can't be crossed. I mean, however people think the PCA program is supposed to go, you can never, ever not become friends with your employees, especially in the healthcare business, because if you're not friends with them in some capacity, okay, the trust would not be there, okay? And the understanding of when I need something, someone has to be there. So taking the job seriously and understanding that the support we need, the support you guys give as PCAs has to be there. Like me, if I can do away with people being with me overnight. It is not a preferred way to do things for some people. And it is a controversial subject in some people's eyes. But it can be done. But feeding and preparing meals cannot be cut or taken away. So, basically what I'm saying is, even though people don't want me and other consumers to do certain things, we have to do what we have to do to live. Okay? And if that means we have to cut the overnight, or cut this, or cut that, or do something that isn't recommended, we're gonna have to do it as consumers to maintain the program and to make sure that the funding is there when we need it. Because I'll tell you what, in the PVA program, if you run out of hours for the week or the year, better yet, for the year, the consumer has to come out of his or her pocket to make up the difference. When you're living on seven to 800 a month, or, I'm not gonna give you my exact numbers, but $700 to $800 a month, there's no way I can cover all the PCA expenses and maintain food, pay rent, and maintain the electric on my house. And not only that, maintain the flexibility to have a life, have a computer, have a television, so I can watch it so I'm not staring at the four walls when I'm home. While I'm on that subject of being home, people are still, to this day, I'm 50 years old, and people still say to me, "What do you do all day?" I am so sick of hearing you don't do anything all day. I'm on the phone dealing with government, dealing with PCA issues, dealing with this pay cut, dealing with stuff for you, folks out there personally, and not to mention having some family issues going on that take up my time too. So when people say I don't do anything during the day, even though I'm home, it's so far from the truth it ain't even funny. If you want, come to my house. If you email me or whatever, and it's a valid reason, you're more than welcome. If you're from the state or wherever, and an agency that wants to understand what I do on a daily basis, you're more than welcome to come and see the kind of thing I do on a daily basis. Because, Kelsey, can you pull out for me? again, like I've said in the past, and I'll say it again, this chair is a tool for me to use so I can get around because I can't walk and I can't use my arms very well. But that does not, it does not define or mean that I can't do anything or say anything or have very, very minimal value on this earth and not be able to do something that's positive and something that's worthwhile in this world or this community. A wheelchair, even glasses, is just a tool to help people do what they do. It's not to downgrade anybody, it's not to, it doesn't give people the right to make fun of people or say whatever they want, but they can believe that I sit there and do nothing all day. But it's not true. Okay, Kelsey, you can go back in. I'm, in some cases, more involved with the community and more involved with what's going on in the community than some able-bodied people. Not that I am downgrading anybody able-bodied, but able-bodied people, in some cases, in very few cases, but it is a possibility for this. Socially, able-bodied people are more, in my opinion, more apt to be antisocial than they are social. It's that's not a scientific, that's not a scientific thing, but that's just my opinion because if you're able-bodied, you're moving around, you're doing your thing, and you're not stopping and thinking, why am I doing what I'm doing? Or how am I going to do this to make my life easier and somebody else's life? It's just a case of get through the day without collapsing, or get through the day, get everything done on the list, and don't stop and think, how am I going to do this, or how does it impact somebody else? It does not, a lot of people don't look at it that way, but having a disability gives you quite a different outlook on life, and you know, having a disability, having a physical challenge instead of a disability, because you're as able to do everything except to walk, and there are ways to get around that. There are difficulties that I can't do, but I have a good quality of life and a good team behind me. without the funding and without the ability to maintain that funding, my life would change considerably. So, I just want people to know, in the federal government and the state government, think about what I'm saying and think about people like me who are in wheelchairs and need 18 to 19 hours a week, 18 to 19 hours a day for my care before you start cutting. And think about the independence you guys have as people that can walk, as people that can do certain things. And think about what we wouldn't be able to do if we didn't have the services the money provides for us. And I just think people stop thinking about themselves and think about other people more. This world would be a lot better place as a result. And personally, that can go the other way too. People gotta help other people. The caregivers deserve a break and deserve time off. So when I personally ask for people to cover other people, you're not just covering that person. You're not giving that person a day off. You're giving me the ability to continue to do what I do. So, I mean, that when you cover for somebody else, you're covering for me, not them. Alright, you're not coming to that point. You're not, people aren't understanding that we need the services because of what we have no control over the reason why we need the services. Why are we being punished? Because we need services. That is the question. Why are we being punished? Because we need services. And I'll tell you why. Because people in government don't want to spend the money to give people a good quality of life. Right? They just want to do the bare minimum and expect people to do what they do. As a result of that, we're in the situation we're in right now where, things are tight because of the misappropriation and the right attitude of where the money should go and how the money should be spent on taking care of the people at home. Taking care of the people at home instead of taking care of the people in other areas of the country that don't necessarily want to help or don't necessarily need the help. this is my condition, or many other people in wheelchairs like me and mentally challenged and physically challenged, it isn't a choice for me to get up every day and be in a chair. It's something I have to do because that's the cards I was dealt. Those are the cards I was dealt. Don't punish me and other people because of the cards I was dealt. Okay? And if you spent more time looking into services we need instead of services we don't need, so we don't commit fraud, then we'd have all the services we need and all the money we need. Okay? Now, I have the ability to do the show. I am very vocal, obviously. I am very supportive of certain agencies. I am very vocal on agencies I don't like. But I am very vocal from the standpoint of if you're not gonna study and understand what other people go through, then you have no business telling us what we're doing is wrong. Okay. What we're doing is just trying to survive. And the way we have to do it is the way we have to do it. I mean, we have no choice. We have no choice but to be in a wheelchair. I shouldn't have to worry about information and situations from staff and state government telling me when I have to go to bed or if I need somebody to be with me overnight. That should be my choice. Okay? Yes, everybody's worried about safety. Everybody's worried about this or that, or what if this happens? Well, we never know from 1 minute to the next whether we're going to be here or not. So, things happen, and things are out of our control. I'm not suggesting don't try to prevent something, but you can't prevent every little thing that happens in life. All right? And you cannot, and you should not, protect. Now again, like I said, this show is not to downgrade anybody on their protections and their rights to protect handicapped people and the disabled people to be protected. But you should not protect them to the point where they can't live their best life. Whether it be giving them the choice of what they want to wear, whether it be letting them go outside and be in a controlled but a monitored control instead of a don't do that, or instead of saying don't do that or don't go down the driveway, ask if you need help going down the driveway. Ask if you want to get up. Ask what you want to wear. You know, You're not eating the food. You don't eat my food. So what business is of yours what I eat? Okay? If you don't like liver, you don't have to eat it. But if I want liver, I'm gonna eat liver. If I want to eat liver and onions, that's what I want to eat. You know, I mean, if I want to get into wieners and I can eat it, I'm gonna get into wieners. I mean, you know, it's your job is not to take you're not gonna do this like a baby. I'm not gonna run out into traffic and deliberately get run over. But if it happens, it happens. All right. Living life is always a risk. So let people live their life the way they want. Live their life the way they want to. And I'm not trying to talk to just consumers or PCAs. I'm talking to state too. If you got any questions, you can ask the consumer or ask the PCAs that are taking care of them what they need or what they may want or what would be beneficial to them as PCAs and consumers to create their best life and to make their life as easy as possible. Because at the end of the day, we only live one life. So we don't have to. You can sit in a bubble and say, I'm not gonna do this because this may be risky. Well, life is a risk. If you don't take chances, you don't know. Okay? Now, I'm not suggesting this in any way, shape, or form. So don't go doing this, but if you happen to go outside in a wheelchair and you happen to make a mistake and fall off the sidewalk like I did, well, you may want to go to the hospital, but you just pick yourself up, keep going. Things are gonna happen. Like my father said, I'm not gonna fall out of a tree, or I'm less likely to get hit in the head with a baseball bat than I am I'm not going to be able to experience all the normal things that other people do. So yes, it hurt. It hurt and it did some damage to me for a while. I was bruised up pretty well. But that was an experience that I will be more careful that I won't do again. I mean, that would be stupid if I did what I did again, but I mean, things happen and life goes on. And we are inherently protected because we're in a chair. And we know people care about us as consumers and caregivers. We know that. But There's a difference between caring and smothering and being a mother hen as far as, oh, I don't want you to go outside because you may fall. Well, you may get, you as regular people could walk out the door today and get run over by a car and be in a chair like me with a disability. And that just happens. So I'm not suggesting it will, but I'm just saying things happen to everybody. And circumstances are different, but they can be so similar for people with disabilities. And talking to people and understanding where people are is a lot better than taking away funding when you don't know exactly what you're taking away from. You're taking people's life away when you take away funding they need. They don't have the choice to be in a chair, so you shouldn't have the choice to take away the funding that people need. One, as I have told you before, I have had many people tell me that what I do makes a difference. And the reason why I do this show every week and say the things that I do every week that I'm here is to make you and the people around you think about what I'm saying and how I'm saying it so that you can get the same opinion of he can do it, I can do it too. Now you may do it differently than me, which is totally fine. I'm not suggesting you do things the exact same way, but I am here every week that I can be to tell you I'm with you, I understand, and I'm being as supportive as I can be. And as we get older, and as things happen in life, we all have to come together and help each other out. And every one of us is going to have some sort of disability. Like I said, getting glasses, having hearing aids is a physical challenge, but it's a tool that can be used to help you navigate life. And everybody has tools in different ways they deal with what they deal with. So, as a result of those tools, that's how we and I do what I do. And without the funding, we don't have the ability to do those tools. And every agency that's a nonprofit needs funding and needs the ability to get the funding to be able to provide the services. So think about what you're taking away before you take it away. Now, unfortunately, I have been away for the last couple weeks. One of the reasons why I've been away is unfortunately, 10 months, almost to the day, when I lost my mother, I lost my uncle. And my uncle, Cornelius Fitzpatrick, was one of my biggest supporters financially and just in general. We could go to him and say, we need to raise money for this, or we need to, CP telethon was coming up, and he used to do things like, if you swore at the shop at Barn Oil, you had to raise, you had to get some money for that. And at the end of today's show, I'd just like to say, we can take over from here, Uncle Connie, and thank you for all the support, and thank you for being a great uncle. And I look forward to seeing you one day. Thank you all, folks, for watching today, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy the 4th of July and the 4th of July parade, and we will see you the week after. And thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.